Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Nikki here, and today I thought I would show you what I have been doing with the piece of DIY fabric that I made the other day, and that video was put up a couple of weeks ago. I used an old sheet and a variety of papers to make this cover. Now, it was quite large when I'd finished it. So the first big decision I had to make is, what size do I want this thing to be? So I started off with an old grocery shopping bag, which I cut up, folded it over to make some pockets, lined it with music paper because I don't want to see that company logo, and decided, right, that is going to be my base size. That will be the biggest for all the pieces of paper I will put inside it. And I then decided, right, let's make the cover. So what I did, I trimmed it all up. I ran some zigzag stitch around the edge, because the other thing I'm not sure about is how sturdy this is going to be, how strong it's going to be. Will the papers sort of maybe try and peel off? I have no idea. So I thought, right, zigzag stitch will sort of help seal the edge. And the other thing that bamboozled me was, I'm not sure, again, how strong this is going to be. I was going to sew on the ties, and then I thought, oh, look, it might not be tough enough. So how are we going to do it? So very simply, I grabbed a beautiful piece of black satin, very plain and simple. I have stitched it to the back of this little bit of deco that I added, because the other thing, when I made this, I didn't think about pattern print placement. I just slapped things down. And of course, I had my finished sheet here, and I wanted to make sure this clock and these flowers were on the front. So I had excess over here, but if I cut too much off, then it would have been too short to wrap around. Like, I've been dithering with this now for a couple of weeks, trying to work out how to make it work properly. So this section here, there was a little bit plain. So I decided, right, we need some trim. So I had a beautiful piece of sparkly ribbon that I have glued down. I did all of this with my favorite glue, Tiger Grip. It glues all the things. And if for any reason I think it's starting to not adhere properly, I might just hand stitch it down. But at this stage, it looks rock solid. So I started off with this lovely sparkly ribbon. You can see the bits of gold coming through this top ribbon, which was actually a rust brown, but I wanted black, so I painted it. I used a sponge and painted it with black paint so that it was black. Made the little bow, sewed that on with the little key charm. All this area here has been sewed together to give it some strength. And then I just glued all of this down. Easy peasy. This then I can tie whenever I like without putting any extra stress on this cover. So then we have the inside. Now, I thought I had measured correctly, and I thought I really need to give the spine, where I sew in my signatures, a little bit of strength. So I had this canvas, and I glued a piece down, and it seems to have adhered beautifully. And then when I went to measure the ribbon, I went, oh no, Nick, you silly nuff. It's in the wrong spot. It's too far over. Okay, fine. We all make mistakes. Just fix it. So what I did, I literally put another piece down. I put a little bit of gold paint and a bit of Tim Holtz down just to grunge it up a little bit and soften it, because it was sort of a very bright, clean cream. So I now have 2 strips of fabric, but at least now I can sew my signatures in, and I know it will have a little bit of strength. And then, of course, this piece is a little longer, and the idea is it's a wraparound style. So that is the cover I have made. Oh, then, of course, we have to choose papers for inserts, don't we? So I've gathered together all these things, and I don't know whether to put them all in or not, but we shall see. So I have that one, which I've shown you. I made 2 of those. Just pop this little bit of scrap down on there for a bit of interest. They may well become the 2 covers for my signatures, I think. Haven't quite decided yet. Then I have a square doily that has had a little bit of grunge treatment. There's a tiny bit of gold on there too. There's a little map page. It's from an atlas. Very, very neutral here. I really sort of didn't want to add colours. I will do that when I actually create pages in here. I have a good old paper bag that has seen better days, but I like the texture. I have, oh, this was a, you know, one of those envelopes, that size. I cut off the flap and I also cut off the bottom. So when that gets sewn in, that will be a dual pocket on each side. Oh, here's just a little bit of coffee-dyed magazine page. Here's a piece of baking paper. I love all these crunchy sounds and feelings. It's had the tiniest bit of gold paint brushed on it. We have, oh, 2 sheets of coffee-dyed grid paper. This is an old piece of scrapbooking paper. This was brilliant white. And, of course, I have coffee-dyed that too. Here is 2 dictionary pages. Now, I know the easiest way is to simply, you know, fold a page that way and put it into your journal. But for some strange reason, I have this thing about writing being that way. I like my writing to be the correct way up. So I just glued a little strip of coffee-dyed fabric down the centre there and then sewed that down for a little bit of extra strength. This is another coffee dyeing experiment together with a lace placemat. It did get a little bit of blue on it, left over. The blue must have been on the rubbish bag that I had lined my bench with, but I don't mind that. But that's about as much colour as I want in here at the moment. A little bit of blue, but that's okay. Love how that page turned out. Of course, music paper. This is leftover wrap from a bunch of flowers my mother got sent a while ago. It's probably the last bit of that I have left, but I love that. This is some wrapping from a package that got delivered. It's all a bit scrunchy, a bit noisy, but I love that. Found these 2 pages in my stash. This is beautiful paper. I got this at a news agency who was clearing out a selection of beautiful paper that you used, you know, to make your own invites. So I thought those 2 were gorgeous. They're pearlized, the inside's pearly. I love that. So I thought we'll add one of those into each. Here I have a page from, this is a botanical book that I've got. Now, technically, yes, this is on its side, but it's not writing. I just quite liked those frames. I thought that was pretty cool. That's another piece of that packaging. And on here, I had a torn piece of baking paper and it's got some white and gold and coffee splatters on it. I decided to actually adhere it to this page just for a little bit of interest. Of course, what would a journal be without some plain coffee-dyed paper? Found this gorgeous little scrap. I've just glued that down again for a bit of interest. Only added things that were black, white, cream, no colour at this stage. Piece of piano paper and another coffee-dyed piece, but I love this one. It's got quite a bit of blue, but that is the only colour on it. So we can add that one. And then finally, I do have this piece of lined paper, which I thought would be handy. So I think I will stick with 2 signatures. That is quite a few papers there. I could split it into 3. I might still do that. I just want everything to be sort of neutral and clean, ready to decorate like crazy. So yes, we just have to decide. But that's the papers I'm going to use. As you can see, it's nothing but decision after decision making this. But so far, I am really happy with how it's turned out. And in the future, you will see me actually making some of the pages that I will be using in this. This is, I'm going to call my Joy Journal. I just adore this cover so much, and I want to create a junk journal for myself where everything that I put in it, spark some joy, whether it will be places I like to go or things I like to do or happy mail that I've received. Everything in here will have a meaning and will be something that brings me joy. So that's the plan for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love it if you hit the thumbs up. It helps YouTube share my channel with others. And if you aren't already a subscriber, I would love it if you became one. For planner and paper crafting videos, this is the place to be. So bye for now. Stay safe and stay healthy.